and you must have a three-part scheme, which is what you see here. And it would talk about what colors were appropriate for what rooms, what colors were literally appropriate in the dining room versus the parlor versus the library.
The interior work on Beechwood was not a literal restoration, but is more accurately described as adaptive reuse. For instance, where large sliding casement doors separated the three main rooms of the first floor, Susan instead used large, colorful curtains called portieres.
It was a common treatment for, instead of having a door, you know, to be able to close a room off, but not have a door. And we used them here because this is an adaptive reuse. This is not a restoration, really. And it had to be big open spaces so that this could be used all together, or these could be pulled and be small little meeting rooms.
The grand reopening of Beechwood House took place on January 21st, 2002.
I'm very happy to be here, and my intent is not to speak for very long, but I do want to speak very passionately to thank everyone who's here today. Because on one level or another, everyone here has contributed to this project being a success. I was just telling someone, it's kind of like being at a wedding. There's all these great people here from so many different parts of the last 2.5 years of my life. And to have you all in one room, for me, is very special. So thank you all.
Beechwood has become a crown jewel of the main line. It is once again full of life and activity, and is one of the finest representations of Victorian architecture from the late 19th century in the Philadelphia area. But it is also more than that. Beechwood is testimony to what can be done through community effort. In this case, a building on the verge of demolition was resurrected, and along with it, a piece of history that will be with us for years to come.
You have to be in absolute awe of what's happened. If you play the process back a number of years ago, I don't think anybody at Shipley, including myself, could have possibly imagined that the restoration and renovation of Beechwood House could have turned out the way it did. And honestly, it was a wonderful commentary, and a lot of people learning to see things a little bit differently and work together at times that may have been difficult. The truth is, the project would not have happened without the vision, the foresight, the hard work of, among others, Heather Hillman. She just did a spectacular job. The building will be enjoyed by generations of people to come. For us here at the school, it provides us with a wonderful reception area on the first floor and 4 badly needed faculty apartments upstairs. And the tenants who are there, the 4 faculty members who are there, just love it. And I think they speak for the entire community. It's just fabulous. Congratulations to the Friends to Save Beechwood. You did a spectacular job.
I think the reason that the community was so much involved in doing it was because the building was still, in essence, fully intact. And you could sense how a family had lived in a very spectacular large mansion on the main line. And to return that splendor in some way, either as residential or as public community space, was very important.
And what I think is so unique about this project, my work as an art historian is actually on Versailles, so I deal a lot with France. And in France, the government comes in and does everything. They have a huge part of their budget for art. And here, the only way this was saved was for diverse community groups to get together and fundraise.
Well, this is obviously a wonderful moment, and certainly Stephen Orlando Fugate would have approved of having a crowd like this. It's probably been many, many generations since there has been this kind of an open house here at Beechwood, which is exactly what it was built to do. And I think, as we'll all see, there's really a flow here on this first floor that makes this an entertaining house. This was not a house where where the kids did the homework, this was a house where people laid back and enjoyed the spring and fall seasons.
My original hope had been to save the building for its historic merits, and that the community would at least be able to still see it as part of the fabric of the landscape here. But as we talked and tried to see what Shipley could use the building for, the idea of having meeting spaces that could also be open to the community was really what came to the forefront as the best use of the first floor. And that's what is so exciting about this, that now it's not just people seeing it or hearing about it, but they can come into the building, they can feel what the spaces feel like, they can see the history panels and read about the past of it and be a part of it.
Protected by a 30-year easement held by the Lower Merion Conservancy, this elegant house is an excellent example of preservation through creative adaptive design. Restored to its original Victorian splendor and designed for modern utility, Beechwood is a monument to community action and spirit.